Hi all, this is Misty with Pixel Financial. Happy Friday. So I actually have a limited amount of time to get this video out today. So I apologize if there are mistakes in here that I just go ahead and plow forward with because I don't want to have to do a retake. I apologize if it's not perfect, but we're going to get there. I'm pretty sure I'm never perfect, but I'm also going to be shifting my attentions to other information outside of the PPP and the EIDLs, primarily because those seem to be rolling and people are having fewer and fewer questions on those. However, if you do have questions, feel free to reach out to me or go check out some of my videos on my YouTube channel or Facebook, and hopefully they can answer some of your questions as well. What I want to start talking about are the employer payroll tax credits that are coming available or are available now in terms of qualifying payroll. Now, there are two tax credits. There's the employee retention credit, and then there are the tax credits for the COVID-19 provisions of the FMLA. However, today I'm going to talk about the employee retention credit because that is one that if you decide to change your mind, you need to act now. And what I mean by that is that you cannot have the PPP and this employee retention credit. So you may look at this after doing all of your due diligence and decide that the employee retention credit is actually what is best for your company. In which case you have until May 14th to return any PPP funds that you've received so that you can take advantage of this retention credit. And here's how the retention credit works. First of all, there's no business size limitation. You can be big, you can be small. It is for any company. And you can qualify for it one of two ways. The first way is that your company or your business has been shut down as a direct result of government orders. And if that's the case, you qualify for this credit. The other option that allows you to qualify for this credit is if your gross receipts have reduced more than 50% from a qualifying period, then you also qualify. And what they mean by that is if you look at Q2 of 2020 and compare it to Q2 of 2019, and your income has been reduced more than 50% in 2020 from 2019, you will qualify for this credit. Now, it includes qualifying payroll, and qualifying payroll is defined as payroll that you pay to employees between March 13th through December 31st of 2020. So those dates are very important, not before, not after, but between those dates. However, there are some restrictions in terms of what size of business you are. If you are fewer than 100 employees, this tax credit will be included for all of your payroll. Health benefits, not retirement benefits, but health benefits and gross wages. All right, so it'll be 50% of that combined amount for businesses under 100 employees, whether they're working or whether they're not, as long as they're getting paid. However, if you are an employer with more than 100 employees, what will happen is that you can only take this credit on qualifying wages paid for workers who did not work during the quarter. So essentially you paid them paid leave, okay? Again, it can still include the health benefits. So that's something that's going to be very, very important. My demographic is not going to have to worry about that second option over 100 employees. My demographic is well under 100 employees. So really, if you're listening to me, that is the one where you will be able to take this credit on 100% of all of the wages that you pay out. Now, how the credit works is that, for example, let's say in Q2, you paid out, or between the period of time that is appropriate, you paid out $10,000 in employee wages and health benefits. You will receive a 50% tax credit. So you'll have $5,000 of tax credit to use, up to $10,000. So once you receive $10,000 in credit, you're done. The credit doesn't go above that point. And in order to recoup that credit, what's simply going to happen when you file your 941s is you aren't going to pay the employer portion of your taxes. The Medicare, Social Security, those kinds of things will not get paid. Now, they're going to worry about the reporting of whether or not you're taking advantage of that tax credit a little bit later, if I understand correctly. So we're really not quite sure how that's all going to work. I imagine they're probably going to modify the 941 a little bit, but that's how it works, is you can take advantage of those tax credits immediately by filing your 941s and simply not paying the employer portion of the taxes. You'll also be reporting your health benefits on the 941s as well, so that will factor into all of this. Now, If for some reason you don't use all of the credit, let's say you received all $10,000, but your employer taxes amounted to $5,000, you're going to be able to fill out a form called a Form 7200 and request a refund of the remaining credit that you didn't use. So that's how that's going to work. Again, it's just a recap. The employee retention credit, you cannot have the same thing in terms of PPP and employee retention. And you also have to qualify based on the two criteria: you were shut down due to government order, or your income has been reduced by more than 50%. Now, you also need to know that you cannot take advantage of the employee retention credit and the work opportunity tax credit at the same time, nor do the COVID-19 credits that you will receive as a provision of the FMLA will not feed into that as well. That's a separate credit altogether. And so you need to make sure that you're tracking the leave very differently, which payroll companies have been really, really good about putting together paperwork and separate codes in order to track the COVID-19 related leave as opposed to the regular wages and salaries that you're paying. So again, this is something you need to be discussing with your consultants, your CPAs, your managerial accountants, your business consultants to decide which one is better for you. Is it the PPP or is it the employee retention credit? So I hope you all have a great weekend. Good luck in your decision-making process, and we'll talk to you all very soon. See you next week. Bye.